Amy DeBosky, I'm the municipal manager for the municipality of Anchorage. Approximately 11:30 p.m. on March 24th, there was an avalanche up Hiland Road, approximately mile 7. The size of this avalanche is massive. It has been described by avalanche experts as a once in 100-year event. At this time, we have approximately 100 homes that are cut off. Many of these homes do not have power. It is still a very active and unstable slide area. A decision was made to commence with mitigation efforts this morning in conjunction with the state of Alaska and MOA officials with the expertise and advice of avalanche experts. An evacuation order has been issued by Mayor Bronson for residents in the affected area. Roughly 50% of the snowpack on the mountain has came down in the original avalanche that occurred on the 24th. Release of the remaining snowpack will occur naturally or through mitigation efforts. If we have an uncontrolled release at an unknown time, that could result in the loss of life. We want to do everything we can to prevent that. Through mitigation efforts and an evacuation, we can prevent loss of life and ensure the safety of our residents. Mitigation efforts include the placement of explosives by helicopter in areas designated by the avalanche mitigation expert, which is employed by the state of Alaska. In just a moment, I'm going to turn this over to Incident Commander Alex Boyd with the Anchorage Fire Department, but before I do, I want to acknowledge and thank the many agencies that have responded and assisted the municipality of Anchorage in this historic event. First, I want to thank the Anchorage Fire Department, the Anchorage Police Department, the Office of Emergency Management, our Parks and Rec Department, our Maintenance and Operations Department, Building Services, the Department of Law, and of course the Mayor's Office. The Mayor was on scene here. As soon as this happened, Friday morning, we were here. He was on scene most of the day yesterday, and yesterday he declared a state of emergency for this area. I also want to thank Governor Dunleavy for coming out yesterday. Governor Dunleavy was here with his Department of Transportation officials as they were assessing the slide area. The Department of Transportation has been intricate in our response and evaluation of the slide area, and we want to say a special thank you to those folks, as well as our Department of Public Safety folks and the Alaska Railroad. I want to say a special thank you to Alaska Mountain Rescue. It's their expertise in these areas that are making sure every operation we conduct on this site is safe, and that the paramount number one thing is that we make sure that our responders are safe and the residents in the area are safe. Additionally, I want to thank the Alaska Red Cross, the Salvation Army, and the National Weather Service. I want to say a special thank you to our local assembly members, Assemblymember Allard and Assemblymember Kennedy. Assemblymember Allard has jumped on a snow machine. She's gone out talking with local residents, explaining the danger in this particular area and the need for evacuation. As I said, this is a sizable event. We basically have two choices in this event. One is do nothing, and we know the secondary slide will happen, and we won't be able to control when it happens, and we certainly don't want anyone to lose their life. The second is a mitigation effort. With that mitigation effort, as I said, we have experts on scene that are willing to help do that, but we have to evacuate the area. We cannot perform mitigation if one person remains, because we're not willing to risk human life. With that said, right now, AFD and APD officials are working in conjunction with Alaska Mountain Rescue and Parks and Rec to safely enter the area and issue the evacuation order to the residents in that area. Residents are being given an evacuation order. They're also being given a fact sheet that talks about some of the details we're talking about here today. So with that, I'm going to turn the effort over to Incident Commander Boyd with the Anchorage Fire Department, and he'll tell you a little bit about the operations and answer some of your more technical questions.
Thank you. I'm Alex Boyd, Assistant Chief of the Anchorage Fire Department. I'm acting as the Incident Commander for this scene. I am representing our unified command with the Anchorage Police Department, Maintenance and Operations, as well as the leadership team from the city. Our operations here are focused on life safety for the citizens in the area. And these are the things that are driving our decisions as we're moving forward, with life safety as our priority. This has been a very unique situation for our teams, and the advice that we're receiving from the experts in the field to determine which the next steps that we can take and what are safe for the citizens. As we make those decisions, they are advising us to move forward with these options, as well as advising us when it might not be safe to do so. As Manager Domosky mentioned, we know that leaving this hazard in place presents a considerable risk to life and property in the area, and we feel that makes it necessary for us to attempt to mitigate this hazard as we move forward. Today's evacuation order is intended to affect that mitigation and safety as we assess the scene and we make final determinations on whether or not we're going to be able to do that mitigation. We have to get the area clear of the citizens so that our responders can focus on the task at hand, as well as ensuring their safety through this process. As we move through this will be a long process. This will be for several days into the future as we move through and work with the teams on the ground to ensure that the hazard is being mitigated and the appropriate steps are being taken to ensure safety in the area before we can go in and actually clear the road and return service to the area. Our partners have been tremendous assets and help to us in making these decisions and supporting the citizens in the area. And for all the folks that are affected by this, we're hoping to have solutions and answers in place very soon for you.
We're going to open up for brief questions. Connor?
Pass on your right, just real quick.
Suzanne?
Very many people who are trapped behind the avalanche that are medically fragile people.
I'm sorry, can you ask again?
You have people behind the avalanche there who are trapped, who are medically fragile people who need to be evacuated in some
Yes,
way.
we are aware of members within the community that are trapped behind the slide who are unable to get out for emergency medical care. We do have provisions for that, and we have a process by which members in need of emergency medical care can call 911 and we can get them help. We're very fortunate to have one of our off-duty firefighters that is trapped on the other side, and he is one of our key points, as well as our Parks and Rec Department, Maintenance and Operations, who have provided us an opportunity to be able to access via a small trail that was cut in between two sections that we're using to evacuate people as needed and transfer them in and out. So our plan for medical care is there, as well as support for those members as needed.
Bill, do you have a question?
When do you guys think mitigation work will start?
Our window, our best window, as I'm being advised, is today before 8 o'clock. When we lose daylight today, we do have a weather event coming in that will change conditions and will require us to reassess the opportunities for mitigation. So today's efforts will be concluded by 8 o'clock, and we will have a better understanding of the risk at hand if we're able to control that or if it still exists at that point.
Is there like a peak temperature for getting a slide to release? It warms up and it's frozen last night.
I won't speak on behalf of the experts who have been advising, but I understand this is a fragile layer within the snowpack that's been there for a long time. As I understand, there were some weather events that occurred early in the season, October, November, that layered in a weak layer very deep, and at this point, the entire snowpack is sort of affecting that problem, and the small changes in our weather right now are making it worse, but not dramatically worse.
Connor?
All my questions got answered.
Can I follow up with just a little more information? I also, want to thank public transit, because we have a location for those residents that need help evacuating. Our Director of Maintenance and Operations, Saxton Shear, has been taking calls on his cell phone, and I want to give that number for residents who are listening to my voice, 223-9787. If you need help with evacuation, please call Saxton directly, and he can coordinate with either a snow machine or a truck to be able to get you out. Isolated residents can go to the West River Road trailhead location for pickup by a snow machine, and you will be transported to Birdsong. We have a trail that has been cut in there, and it is a historic trail that's usually used by foot, but now we're running snow machines on it. At the end of that, public transit has made a warm bus available where residents can warm up in the bus. There are latrines there where you can use the facilities, but you can also get a pickup there. If at any point you need help with being transported beyond that location, a member of our team can transport you. If you need sheltering services, there is a shelter that has been established at the Harry J. McDonald Center, and the Red Cross is on scene to receive residents that need a warm place to shelter. I think that is the key right now. Message is, this is this is an unstable avalanche area. We need to be able to make it safe for the residents in the community, as well as for the crews who are going to be clearing the roads. Mitigation will not happen if you do not evacuate. Everyone has to be clear of this area in order to commence with mitigation efforts. If that does not happen and somebody decides to stay, the road will remain closed until it is safe, which could be well into the summer. We could potentially looking at not being able to clear the road till late June, or early July. So it is imperative for the safety of all residents and the emergency responders that residents in the area clear the area. Right now, APD, AFD, those folks are going in right now asking residents to evacuate. If you have any questions, you can follow the mayor's page. We put right on muni.org, there's a button right at the top of the page for the Hiland Avalanche. Status updates are there, as well as the mayor's corner, and the Office of Emergency Management within the municipal manager's office is also sending out alerts and updates. We will keep residents updated via these social media platforms, and we'll keep, of course, the press updated so you can help us spread this message far and wide. But our hope, again, is to mitigate today. Weather's coming in tomorrow, and if we don't do it today, we frankly lose our window, and Mother Nature may take care of it. Unfortunately, we don't want to have a negative result and lose any life, so that's really important. Is there anything else? Okay. Are there any other questions?
I just had one follow-up. Do you know how many people have already evacuated?
We do not have an accurate count, and that's part of the process today is to get an accurate count of who has come out.
Thanks, everyone.
So one last question. When the next slide does come down, it might take out some houses because the first one is so close, like within feet. So what is the situation with that?
It very well may. So the reality of the situation is we know there's a secondary slide that's going to happen, either naturally or with mitigation efforts. There are a number of houses, I would say 6 to 8 houses, that are right up against the toe of the first slide. We literally have had vehicles buried. We had a mother-in-law apartment pulled off its foundation and moved about a couple hundred feet. Thank God no one was hurt in those instances, but a secondary slide certainly could, whether it's Mother Nature, whether it's through mitigation, a secondary slide certainly could impact buildings. We have a building official on site right now evaluating all those buildings, but the residents are being told that they're frankly in a slide path and they know it, but it's really critical for us to stabilize the area the best we can and protect their life, and that's what we're trying to do today.